Welcome, children. Let us continue the second part of Geography, chapter number 2. The name of the topic is Land, Soil, Water, Natural Vegetation, and Wildlife Resources. Children, in our previous part of the chapter, we have learned about land, then land use, conservation of land resource, soil, and mitigation mechanism of landslides. This thing we have learned. Here in page number 11, first of all, have a look at a soil profile. Boys, a soil profile is a vertical section of soil. Here in this picture you can see the different layers of soil. Topsoil with humus and vegetation on which we used to grow crops and grasses used to grow. Then second level, it is subsoil with sand, silt and clay. Next one, weathered rock material. Then the fourth one is parent rock. Boys, do you know it takes hundreds of years to make just 1 centimeter of soil? Factors of soil formation. Let us see what are the factors which are required to form soil. The major factors of soil formation are the nature of the parent rock and climatic factors. So, these are the major factors of soil formation. One is the nature of the parent rock and another one is climatic factors. Other factors are the topography, role of organic material and time taken for the composition of soil formation. Organic material means material derived from living matter, that is called organic material. All these differ from place to place. So all these, whatever we have mentioned here, these are not alike in each and every places. They are differ from place to place. Now here under you see factors affecting soil formation. What are the factors that affect soil formation? Soil. To form soil, you see, parent rock determines color, texture, chemical properties, mineral content, permeability. Then down one, relief, that is altitude and slope, determine accumulation of soil. Next, flora, fauna and microorganisms that affect the rate of humus formation. This flora, fauna and microorganism. Climate, temperature, rainfall influence rate of weathering and humus formation. Temperature and rainfall that influence the rate of weathering and humus formation. Time determines thickness of soil profile. Let us see the next page, page number 12. First of all, you see activity. In India, soils could be alluvial, black, red, laterite, desertic, and mountain soil. So these are the main types of soil which are found in India, boys. You will learn about this even in class 10 also. Collect a handful of different types of soil and observe how are they different. So you can do it by collecting different types of soils, and uh, you can, that means, find out the different between the soils. Degradation of soil and conservation measures. Degradation means breaking down of soil, and conservation means to save, to preserve. Is a preventive measure. How to save it? Let us see. Soil erosion and depletion are the major threats to soil as a resource. Soil erosion and depletion. Depletion means a reduction in number or quality. So soil erosion and depletion are the major threats to soil as a resource. Both human and natural factors can lead to degradation of soils. So human being, we, and by the way, natural factors that can degrade soils. Factors which lead to soil degradation are deforestation, overgrazing, overuse of chemical fertilizers or pesticides, rainwash, landslides, and floods. Boys, see here again, factors, you underline this, okay? Factors which lead to soil degradation. So these are the factors. These are responsible for degradation of soil. These are deforestation. Deforestation means cutting down of trees, overgrazing to graze animals excessively, overuse of chemical fertilizers. So using chemical fertilizers excessively, or pesticides. Pesticides, it is a medicine which is used to kill pests from crops. Rainwash, landslides, and floods. So these are the factors that lead to soil degradation. You must know it, boys. Underline it in your book and learn it. Some methods of soil conservation are listed below. So here under we are going to study some methods to conserve soil. Anybody can ask you, suggest, say, any 3 methods or 4 methods to conserve soil. So you can write from here under what it has given. Mulching. The bare ground between plants is covered with a layer of organic matter like straw. Mulching means, you see here, in such case, the bare ground between plants is covered with a layer of organic matter like straw. It helps to retain soil moisture. So people used to cover that, it is because of they want to give more moisture to the soil. So this moistureness, it can found after covering that layer of organic matter like straw. Contour barriers. Stones, grass, soil are used to build barriers along contours. Trenches are made in front of the barriers to collect water. So in order to collect water, several trenches are made and stone, grass, soil, these are used to build barriers along the along contours. Rock dam, rocks are piled up to slow down the flow of water. So rock, people they used to place one rock on other, they pile up it in order to slow down the flow of water, and these prevent gullies and further soil loss. So it prevents gullies of the that areas, and further it help us from loss of soil. Now she here terrace farming picture has given boys, control bluffing, that one also given. Terrace farming. Terrace farming, each of a series of plant areas made on a slope. That is called terrace farming. Broad flat steps or terraces are made on the steep slopes so that flat surfaces are available to grow crops. So in such a way they are arranged, and so that flat surfaces are found here in order to grow crops. They reduce surface runoff and soil erosion. So this type of terraces, it reduce surface runoff. That means wash away soil from the air and soil erosion like that. Intercropping. Different crops are grown in alternate rows and are sown at different times to protect the soil from rainwash. So you see, in intercropping, here what we used to do, different crops are grown in alternate rows and are sown at different times in order to protect the soil from rainwash. If crops are there or plants are there, then there is less chance of wash out that soil by rain. That's why crops in alternate rows, that means used to grow. Contour ploughing, boys, it is the farming which is practiced by planting across a slope following its elevation. So ploughing parallel to the contours of a hill slope to form a natural barrier. Ploughing parallel you might know that means from geometry also. Ploughing parallel to the contours of a hill slope to form a natural barrier for water to flow down the slope. Then shelter wells. Shelter wells means a line of trees or shrubs planted to protect an area, especially a field of crops, from fierce weather. That is called shelter well. In the coastal and dry regions, rows of trees are planted to check the wind movement to protect soil cover. See, in the dry regions, say our western part of India, there rows of trees are planted. So shelter bells picture has given in figure 2.7. From here also you can know it. So you see boys, trees are planted to check the wind movement. In order to check it, to protect soil cover. So this type you see, shelter wells, a type that means it is practicing, and especially in the coastal and dry regions, these are practiced. So let us proceed to next page, that is page number 13. Water. Water, children, it is a basic need to mankind, and it gives us by nature, as nature has given as free gift. But we should not waste water. We must use as much as we need. Wastage should not be there. Let us see this water topic. Water is a vital means absolutely necessary, boys. Water is a vital renewable natural resource. It can renew. Renewable means it can renew. 3/4 of the Earth's surface is covered with water. Out of total surface of the Earth, 3/4 of the Earth is covered by water, covered with water. It is therefore appropriately called the water planet, and that is why our Earth is called water planet. So, as our astronaut also went in the space, from there they saw that the Earth is blue in color. It is because of most part of the Earth is covered by water. Our Earth is also known as blue planet. It is called water planet also. It was in the primitive oceans that life began almost 3.5 billion years back. So it was in the primitive oceans that life started almost 3.5 billion years ago. Even today, the oceans cover 2/3 of the Earth's surface. Even today, children, the oceans it cover 2/3 of the Earth's surface and support a rich variety of plant and animal life. The ocean water is, however, saline. Saline means mixed with salt and not fit for human consumption, as ocean water it contains salt. Dissolved salt is there. That is why it is not fit for human consumption, and most of our crops cannot grow in salt water. So it is not that means suitable for growing crops also. The ocean water is, however, saline and not fit for human consumption. Fresh water accounts for only about 2.7%. Fresh water, it is only 2.7%. Nearly 70% of this occurs as ice sheets and glaciers in Antarctica, Greenland, and mountain regions. So nearly 70% of this fresh water it occurs as ice sheets and glaciers in Antarctica, Greenland, and mountain regions. Due to their location, they are inaccessible. Inaccessible means unable to be reached. Due to their location, they are inaccessible. Only 1% of fresh water is available and fit for human use. See, out of this again, only 1% of fresh water is available and fit for human use, which is known as potable water also. Okay, it is found as groundwater, so that human consumptions which is possible that fresh water, it is found as groundwater, as surface water in rivers and lakes, and as water vapor in the atmosphere. In such way, that means it is found. Fresh water is therefore the most precious substance on earth, and that is why, boys, fresh water it is most precious substance on earth. Water can neither be added nor subtracted from the earth. See, water, it can neither be added nor it can subtracted from the earth. Its total volume remains constant. Constant means occurring continuously over a period of time. So its total volume it remains constant. Its abundance only seems to vary. Its abundance it seems only very different because it is in constant motion, cycling through the oceans, the air, the land, and back again through the process of evaporation, precipitation, and runoff. So these are the ways, that means how is it in motion. This, as you already know, is referred to as the water cycle. So water cycle, boys, you have learned last year in class 7 geography. So to convert water from, that means water is vapor, again from vapor clouds are formed, again from clouds rainfall, and rainfall as it falls down it comes fall, that means as water rain there, then that water again, that means circulated, that means to form vapor with the help of heat of the sun. So this process is known as water cycle, which you have learned last year. Precipitation is rain, snow, sleet, or hail, any kind of weather condition where something falling from the sky. Let us see the next page of the chapter, that is page number 14. Boys, humans use huge amounts of water not only for drinking and washing but also in the process of production. Human being, we are using huge amounts of water, not just, that means only for drinking purposes and washing, but we also use water in the process of production. Say to grow any crops, water for agriculture, industries generating electricity to produce current through reservoirs of dams are the other uses. These are the other uses of water. Increasing population, rising demands for food and cash crops, increasing urbanization, and rising standards of living are the major factors leading to shortage in supply of fresh water, either due to drying up of water sources or water pollution. So you see, here what we find, increasing population, as population it is ever increasing, and rising demand for food and cash crops. Increasing urbanization means to make town or cities, and rising standards of living are the major factors which are leading to shortage in supply of fresh water. Either it is due to drying up of water sources or water pollution. These are the two reasons. Now let us see the next part of the chapter. Problems of water availability. What are the problems? That means we are facing to available water. There is scarcity of water. Scarcity means lack of water in many regions of the world. In many parts of the world, there's water scarcity, lack of water. Most of Africa, West Asia, South Asia, parts of Western USA, Northwest Mexico, parts of South America, and entire Australia are facing shortages in freshwater supply. These are the sea places where a shortage of water rises. Uh, it is very interesting, boys, to say you that we have the rainiest place in the world. It is in Shillong. Even Shillong, earlier Cherrapunji, it was the rainiest place. Presently Mawsynram, it is at a distance of 25 kilometers from Cherrapunji. That is a rainiest place in the world. So even that you see, I have to say Shillong state, though it is having highest rainfall in the world, but that very state also facing the scarcity of water. They too used to purchase water. Countries located in climatic zones most susceptible. Susceptible means likely. Susceptible to droughts face great problems of water scarcity. Thus, water shortage may be a consequence of variation in seasonal or annual precipitation, or the scarcity is caused by overexploitation. Overexploitation means by excessive use and contamination of water sources. Contamination means making impure. So, scarcity, lack of water, it is caused by this overexploitation and contamination of water sources. Conservation of water resources, as water is very much important for us. It is a basic needs to mankind to survive on this earth. All living things need water. So here conservation to preserve or to save water resources, this is also an important part for our life. Access to clean and adequate water sources is a major problem facing the world today. Steps had to be taken to conserve things. Dwindling means diminishing a resource. So major problems, these are major problems, and that's why steps, we have to take steps or measures. Even though water is a renewable resource, its overuse and pollution make it unfit for use. Though I already told you earlier also, so though water is a renewable, it can renewable resource, its overuse and pollution make it unfit, not suitable for use. Discharge of untreated or partially treated sewage, agricultural chemicals, and industrial effluents in water bodies are major contaminants. These are major contaminants, impurities. See here, what are those? Discharge of untreated or partially treated sewage. Sewage means wastewater and excrement conveyed in sewers, and agricultural chemicals. Chemicals we are applying in our field to save our crops or to get good harvest. So agricultural chemicals is there. and industrial influence. And see, in the industries, whatever dirty things it used to flow in the water bodies are major contaminants. They pollute water with nitrates. Nitrates means is a chemical compound, metals and pesticides. So they pollute water with nitrates, metals and pesticides. Now let us proceed to the next page of the chapter, page number 15. Most of these chemicals are non-biodegradable and reach human bodies through water. Biodegradable means non-biodegradable means here waste that cannot be decomposed by the biological ways and reach human bodies through water. So most of these chemicals uh, it cannot be decomposed by biological ways, and that is why it reaches to our human bodies through water. Water pollution can be controlled by treating these effluents suitably before releasing them in water bodies. We have to know this. We have to keep it in our mind. Water pollution, it can be controlled by treating these effluents. Effluents means liquid waste or sewage discharge. So suitably before releasing them in water bodies. Before releasing that things, we have to control that means that pollution by treating them. Forest and other vegetation cover slow the surface runoff and replenish underground water. Forest and other vegetation which cover slow the surface runoff and replenish underground water. It used to replenish underground water. Water harvesting is another method to save surface runoff. So water harvesting, it is another method to save surface runoff. So water harvesting, that one also I will tell you. Let me finish this part of the chapter. The canals used for irrigating field should be properly lined to minimize losses of water seepage. Seepage means the slow escape of liquid, the slow escape of water. So you see the canals which are used for irrigating, supplying water for our agricultural field, it should be properly lined in order to minimize losses by water seepage. Sprinklers effectively irrigate the area by checking water losses through seepage and evaporation. In dry regions with high rates of evaporation, drip or trickle irrigation is very useful. Drip means small drop of liquid, or trickle means uh, flow in a small stream. Uh, Irrigation is very useful. These are very useful. The valuable water resource can therefore be conserved by adopting these means of irrigation. With the help of this type of irrigation, we can do what? The valuable water resource can therefore be conserved. Boys, towards your right side uh, of the book, the right margin, I have to say, do you know rainwater harvesting? Water harvesting, I told you there. See here, what is this? Rainwater harvesting is the process of collecting rainwater from rooftops and directing it to an appropriate location where it is stored for future use. So, rainwater harvesting, it is a good process in order to solve the problem of shortage of water. On an average, one spell of rain for 2 hours is enough to save 8,000 liters of water. See, if we preserve, that means if we practice this rainwater harvesting, it will be very helpful for us. That's up to here for today. Thank you all. Let us see in the next class.